Hello, so today we're going to be looking at balancing equations. So I'm just going to give an example here. So you got CH4 plus O2 gives you CO2 plus H2O. See that? CH4 plus O2 gives you CO2 plus H2O. So the first step that we always do when we're balancing equations is to count the number of atoms on each side. So for example here, our number of carbons on this side is 1. Got 1 carbon there in the CH4, 4 hydrogens and oxygens, we have O2, so 2 oxygens as well. Our next step is looking at our carbons, hydrogens and oxygens on the other side. So again, carbons, we have CO2, so 1 carbon, hydrogen, H2O, so we've got 2 hydrogens here, and oxygens, we have got 1, 2 in CO2, and we've got 1 in H2O, so O3. So as you can see, at the moment, our equation is unbalanced. We've got carbons, which are 1 on each side, so the carbons are balanced. The hydrogen, there's 4 on the left and 2 on the right, so they're unbalanced. Our oxygen, we've got 2 on the left and 3 on the right, so again, oxygen is also unbalanced. So for our first step, I'm going to balance our hydrogens because it's easier to balance the hydrogens than it is to balance the oxygens. So our hydrogens, all you have to do on the right hand side is double 2 to make 4, which would equal the hydrogens on the left hand side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a 2 next to H2O. So I've got 2 H2O. That changes my hydrogens to now 4 because once I put a number in front, any number that I put in front, you can times that coefficient by any number in that compound. So 2 times 2 for your hydrogen gives you 4. So now that 2 becomes 4. So as you can see, my hydrogens have now become balanced. But because we've got a 2 as our coefficient for H2O, we also have to do 2 times oxygen, which gives us 2 oxygens. 2 oxygens. So that gives us 2 oxygens because then 2 times O. So our O is going to change now. So we've got 2 O's in our CO2, but now we've got 2 oxygens in our 2H2O. So 2 plus 2 gives us 4. So now we look at our oxygen on the right hand side, which is now 4. On the left hand side, our oxygen is 2. So what we can do is make our 2 into 4 by adding a 2 coefficient in front of the O2. So I'm just going to add a 2 here. So 2 O2, 2 times 2 gives you 4. So 2 times 2 gives us 4. So I'm going to put O as 4. As you can now see, our equation is balanced. Our carbon is 1 on the left hand side. It is also 1 on the right hand side. We've got hydrogen 4 on the left hand side, 4 on the right hand side. We've got oxygen 4 on the left hand side and 4 on the right hand side. So if I write out my equation again, this time we have CH4 plus 2O2 gives me CO2 plus 2H2O. And if I now check my atoms again, carbon CH4 gives me 1 carbon, hydrogen H4 gives me 4 hydrogens, and oxygen's 2 times O2, 2 times 2 gives me 4. So oxygen is going to be 4. On the right hand side, carbon, 1 carbon there in CO2. Hydrogen, we've got the 2 times 2, 2H2, 2 times 2 is 4, so H4. And our oxygens, we've got 2 oxygen in our CO2, and we've got 2 times O to give me 2 oxygen H2O. So 2 oxygen H2O plus the 2 oxygen in CO2 gives me 4 oxygens overall. So as you can see, this equation is now perfectly balanced. So CH4 plus 2O2 gives me CO2 plus 2 H2O. So this is just a quick demonstration of how to balance one equation. If I go on to my next slide now, let me try a different method here. So let's go for lithium plus water gives me LiOH, lithium hydroxide, plus hydrogen H2. So again, lithium plus H2O gives me LiOH plus H2. Li is 1 Li on this side, so Li is but 1. Hydrogen, got H2O, so hydrogen is 2, and oxygen in H2O, there's only 1 oxygen in H2O, so 1, 2, 1. On the right hand side, we've got Li, which is again 1. Oxygen is 1. And hydrogen, 1 in LiOH and 2 in hydrogen H2. So we've got 3 altogether. So 1 plus 2 gives me 3. Li, as you can see, is balanced. Hydrogen is not balanced. And oxygen is balanced. So the only thing that isn't balanced is our hydrogen. So what I'm going to do is, because our LiOH is odd, I'm going to make our LiOH hydrogen become even. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 LiOH, so that H becomes 2, so 2 times H as I've done before. So I'm going to do 2 times Li, 2 times O, and 2 times H. So I'm going to put Li2 now. And the reason for why I've doubled Li and made it unbalanced, which we'll find out in a minute. Oxygen becomes 2 times O, which is 2 oxygens. I'm going to cross 1 out, 2 there. And now our hydrogens have become 2 times H, which is 2 there, but there's also 2 in the other hydrogen. So 2 plus 2 gives us 4. And now all our numbers are even. So it's actually a very, very important step here to make our numbers even, because even numbers are a lot easier to balance than odd numbers. So what I can do now is there's 2 Li's on this side, 1 Li on this side. So I'm just going to put 2 in front of Li, 2, so 2 in front of Li. So that makes that 2. So now our Li's are balanced, 2 and 2. I'm going to put a 2 in front of H2O to balance my hydrogens. So 2 H2, 2 times 2 gives me 4, and there's 4 hydrogens on the right hand side as well. So 2 H's in LiOH and 2 H's in H2, so 4 on the right hand side. And on the left hand side is 2 times 2 for the 2H2, which gives me 4. And then my oxygen, I times it by 2 because of the coefficient. So 2 times O gives me 2 there. And also we've got O2 from the 2 O's in LiOH with the coefficient of 2, giving 2 oxygens there. So we've got 2, 4, 2 on the right, but we've also got 2, 4, 2 on the left. So if I write it out neatly again, it's 2 Li plus 2 H2O gives me 2 LiOH plus H2. So that is our final equation there. So 2 Li plus 2 H2O goes to 2 LiOH plus H2. So this is how to balance equations. So 2 examples of balancing equations. So CH4 plus 2O2 gives me CO2 plus 2H2O. As you can see, we balance the atoms on each side. Very, very important. And the same here with the second example, making sure that we've got the same amount of atoms on each side. So 2 Li's, 2 Li's, 4 H's, 4 H's, and also 2 oxygens and 2 oxygens. So hopefully this helps us understand balancing equations.